When Europeans first stepped onto the island in 1722, they did not find an empire, they found silence. Giant stone faces staring inland over a land stripped nearly bare. There were no towering forests, no fleets of canoes, no visible power. Only statues, hundreds of them, standing like witnesses to something that had already ended. The question was not how those monuments were built. The question was, what happened to the world that built them? Centuries earlier, the island was different. Dense palm forests covered the hills. Birds nested in abundance. The soil was fertile, and the sea was generous. The first Polynesian settlers arrived with skill, knowledge, and ambition. They understood navigation, agriculture, and social structure. They did not arrive primitive, they arrived prepared. They divided into clans, leadership formed, identity deepened, and with identity came competition. The moai were not decorations, they were political statements carved in stone, proof that one clan was stronger, more devoted, more powerful than another. Each generation sought to surpass the previous one. Taller statues, heavier stone, greater visibility along the coast. Moving a moai required coordination, manpower, and wood, enormous quantities of wood. Trees were cut to create rollers, levers, sled systems, logs pressed into the earth, trunks dragged across volcanic soil. At first, the forests seemed endless. Cutting one tree meant little. Cutting 100 felt manageable. But the statues grew larger. Ambition did not shrink. Transporting a single moai could require dozens of palm trunks. Replacing them required time. The land began to change subtly. Gaps in the canopy widened. The soil grew more exposed to wind. Without deep root systems, erosion began quietly. Rainwater, no longer held in place, started carving shallow scars into the hills. Bird populations decreased as nesting grounds vanished. Food sources shifted. Pressure increased. Fishing became harder without strong canoes. Larger boats required large trees. Large trees were no longer easy to find. Some clans began searching farther inland for trees that no longer existed. And still, the statues remained the center of power. At some point, the island crossed a line no one could see. The last tall palms disappeared quietly, one by one, long before anyone realized they would not return. Without trees, the island lost more than wood. It lost protection. Storm winds swept across open hills with nothing to slow them. Soil that once held life began sliding toward the sea. Farming grew harder with every passing season. Some crops survived, others failed. The clans blamed each other. Territory, resources, and pride were always part of life on the island, but scarcity sharpened every boundary. The statues that once symbolized strength began to feel like reminders of something lost. Some clans continued building them. Others began to question why. Work slowed in some places. In others, it intensified as leaders tried to hold on to power. The island grew quieter, not peaceful, just tense. And then, slowly, the statues began to fall. By the time European ships finally appeared on the horizon in 1722, the island had already changed beyond recognition. The forests were gone. The great canoe fleets that once connected the island to the sea had vanished, and the society that had built hundreds of monumental statues was now only a fragment of what it had once been. Dutch navigator Jacob Roggeveen stepped onto the shore, expecting discovery. Instead, he found a mystery. The statues were still there, but the civilization that had raised them no longer existed in the form those stones suggested. The people remained, but the world that created the Moai had already collapsed. Some statues had been toppled intentionally, others had simply been abandoned. The island stood as a silent record of ambition, competition, and limits that no one fully understood until it was too late. And today, the stone faces still look inland, watching over a story carved into the land itself. A story not of disappearance, but of a civilization that slowly erased its own future.